Welcome back to the Next Gen Collective podcast, where we spotlight the builders, leaders, and professionals shaping what's next in our community. Today's episode is all about precision under pressure, leadership behind the scenes, and what it really takes to create seamless, memorable experiences. Big thank you to our sponsor, Neighbor Media. They are a content creating and sharing machine, helping businesses, charities, and community leaders consistently communicate with the people they want to reach. Visit www.neighbormedia.ca to learn more. Our guest today is Emily Hlusko-Huard, who has spent over 12 years in the hospitality and event planning, building her career from the ground up. Born and raised in Montreal, yes, fully bilingual, she began working in restaurants before moving into luxury hospitality with Fairmont hotels across Canada, including Fairmont Chateau Whistler and Fairmont Royal York. From there, she stepped into the world of events in Toronto, working a variety of positions with Oliver and Bonacini in sales and event operations, to leading large-scale hospitality operations at Niagara College as event and hospitality manager, overseeing venue scheduling, contract negotiations, cross-functional teams, and operational efficiency. Today, she's the production coordinator and associate planner with Shaylin Angus Events, where she leads operational execution for high-profile weddings and large-scale events. That means vendor management, logistics, production schedules, budgets, floor plans, and making sure everything runs flawlessly in real time. Emily is known for her yes mentality, her energy, and her ability to multitask under pressure. She is a huge asset to the Aurora community, where she's been involved in community events like chats, annuals, bubbles, and smiles. Emily represents exactly what the Next Gen Collective is all about: professionalism, passion, and leadership under 40. Emily, welcome to the podcast.
Woohoo! Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. So you've worked everywhere from restaurants to luxury hotels to corporate venues and weddings. I'd love to start at the beginning. So what did those early hospitality roles teach you about service and pressure that still shows up in your work today?
I think those early hospitality days, working in restaurants, you're learning how to read a room, you're learning how to prioritize, and most importantly, you're learning to make sure every guest feels like they are number one. Whether it is a couple on date night, a group of CEOs, or a ballroom of 300 guests, every guest deserves to feel like they are your number one priority and experience an effortless event.
I love that. You worked across Canada and moved cities for opportunity. How did those transitions shape your confidence and growth as a professional?
I think moving cities was actually what catapulted my career. It got me into a position where I was uncomfortable, and I had to learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable. I had to learn to trust my instincts. I had to learn to be okay with walking into a room and not knowing anyone and walking out of there making friends, making connections, which really connects to the events world today. You're walking into rooms where you don't know a lot of people and you're creating those connections.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's honestly maybe better if you don't know people, because you can just like get in, get out. Yeah, there's a big difference between helping at an event and leading the execution. What separates someone who works events from someone who truly runs them?
That's a great question. A lot of outsiders looking in see events as really glamorous. And the truth is, they're not always super glamorous. What really separates you is when you're running them, it's the systems and the leadership. You're leading an event, you're running the timeline, you're ensuring food hits the table when it needs to, you're cueing speeches. There's so many finer details that go into an event that your guests might not see. And that's exactly it. The guests aren't supposed to see it.
Mm-hmm. You make the magic happen.
Exactly.
So let's talk about pressure. From the outside, events look glamorous, but behind the scenes, there are timelines, budgets, vendors, personalities, and unexpected challenges. So what's the most stressful moment on an event day, and how do you stay calm when things don't go as planned?
I think the most stressful part of an event day is actually right before guests enter the room. You're doing final checks, making sure everything that you need is on the tables, making sure catering is ready and plating, really just making sure all of the fine details are ready to go before a guest enters the room. those last minute details can make or break the guest experience. And it's all about remaining calm and focused and detail oriented on event day.
Yeah, I feel like your energy like gives off to the guests and the clients. If you're stressed and stuff, then they're going to start feeling stressed. So it's good, like what you said, to stay calm.
Not even just the guests, your entire team. You're the leader of the team. If you are chaotic, the team's going to be chaotic. You have to be able to lead with a calm personality.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a moment where you thought this might fall apart, and how did you recover?
I feel like every planner has a moment where they feel like everything's going to fall apart. But how about when things actually fall apart? Now, the real magic is what happens when they fall apart and the team that comes together to fix the situation. I remember we had an event and the drape wall fell down. An entire curtain, 50 feet long, 20 feet high. And we're just about to serve the main course.
Jesus.
There was no denying this happened. All of the guests literally saw it. Guests are now under this wall of drape. And in that moment, the band hops on stage, starts to redirect the guest attention. All of the vendors, service staff, everyone jumps in. We're moving pipe, we're moving drape, we're picking up the pieces, we're resetting tables, changing table linens, picking up broken glass, switching out seats. And in that moment, what the guests remember isn't necessarily that the drape fell. Well, obviously, they're going to remember that, but we're hoping to turn that negative into a positive and for them to see how quickly our team was able to turn that around. Now, do I want this to ever happen again? Absolutely not. So we have safeguards in place.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that this is not a usual occurrence, but when things go wrong, it's really important that you have a team by your side who you can trust to get things done.
And those contingency plans set in place.
Contingency plans are the most important thing.
Yeah. So for young professionals listening, what's the biggest misconception about event planning and production?
I would say the biggest misconception is that it is primarily design and creativity. I would say 95% of what I do is more project management and logistics. I'm managing contracts, budgets, timelines, multiple vendors coming on site, leaving. You know, you need piece A to happen before pieces B, C, and D can happen, and that's imperative in your timeline on the day. You're managing guest flow, risk management. Yes, the design's the beautiful layer that people get to see, but it's all of the detailed operational planning that goes into flawless event execution.
Yeah, I love that. You've stepped into leadership roles at a relatively young age. How did you build credibility in rooms where you might have been one of the youngest people at the table?
Credibility doesn't always come from age. It comes from confidence. It comes from preparation and consistency. Listening before you speak. I'm oftentimes one of the youngest in the room, but I've been able to build a solid career, literally working from the ground up. My hospitality career started I was a hostess, became a server assistant, server, bartender, event supervisor, and I've built an entire career in this industry. I had to be uncomfortable doing other jobs within our team. And for me, that's the biggest thing is people know that I'm credible because I'm not scared to get my hands dirty. I'm not scared to step in and help the team out no matter what that role might be.
Yeah, and that probably helps your credibility with clients too. They're like, she's seen it all. She's done it all. So
exactly. And when I say I'm going to do something, I get it done.
Love that. What does confidence look like in your role? Is it loud and directive or quiet and composed?
Quiet and composed. I mean, there's a time where you have to be loud and directive, but I think the majority of the time it's about being calm. All of the vendors who are loading in or loading out, or the service team who's waiting on your queue, they are going to look to you for the calm in the storm.
What mindset shift helped you grow the most in your 20s and early 30s?
Perfection is not the goal. Progress is.
Period. What do you think professionals under 40 overthink when it comes to career growth?
Your career doesn't have to be perfectly planned. You just have to keep saying yes to the opportunities that are going to help you grow. Like I said earlier, I wasn't scared to get my hands dirty. When I started stepping into more event management role,
Mm-hmm.
I had a chef who I really respect. And she's like, if you are going to take on a leadership role, you have to be willing to get your hands dirty. You have to be willing to work every position that you're expecting your team to work.
Yeah.
The next day I showed up to work and she had me in the dish pit. And it was honestly one of the most, I wouldn't say career defining moments, but it helped me understand that without our team, nothing gets done. So whether it's, the planner leading the show or the person in the dish pit, it takes an incredible amount of people to pull together these what look to be seamless events.
Mm-hmm. It's good to have those mentors along the way that are kind of giving you these like pivotal tips, and it sticks with you.
It really does.
So you're known for your energy and yes mentality. Where does that drive come from?
I think, again, moving provinces to, build my career, being okay, being uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and really figuring out that to get where I want to be, I have to be open to saying yes. I have to be open to a nonlinear path and learning and exploring the different opportunities within this career.
Mm-hmm.
I often talk to people and I don't say I'm an event planner. I'm a hospitality professional.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that encompasses so much more of who I am and the career path I've been able to build.
Yeah, I love that you use that title. This industry can be intense. How do you avoid burnout?
Balance and perspective, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like, balance and perspective. There's going to be seasons where it's going to be really busy and you have to know when you have to say no. You have to know when you have to say no to a client and taking on too much and putting yourself in a position where rest is possible. You're going to have long stretches where you're going to go multiple days in a row in the office in an event scenario,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to say no and take a step back and take a day for yourself.
Like relax.
Or, sometimes it's even just remembering to drink water throughout the day.
Yeah, that's an important tip. What does success look like for you in this season?
I think right now that is continuing to grow professionally, supporting my community, and working on making a community impact.
Perfect. For someone listening who wants to break into event planning or hospitality, what's their first move?
Their first move is being open to opportunity. Like I said, I didn't just go to school and become an event planner, a hospitality professional. I grew a career. I think it's important for someone who wants to get into this industry to start at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's something I looked for when I was hiring staff, managing events for Niagara College. You want a team who understands the expectations. You want a team who understands hospitality, I guess just being open to opportunity. Don't feel like you're above a certain opportunity just because it might not directly align with what you think your career path should look like.
Mm-hmm.
Say yes to the things that make you uncomfortable. Those are going to be the real moments of pivotal growth.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tip, especially for the youth these days. Okay, we're going to move into our last little segment. So rapid fire questions, quick answers, no hesitation. Are you ready? Corporate or wedding?
I love my weddings, but I have to say corporate.
Okay. Favorite local food spot?
Ooh, for lunch, I love grabbing a sandwich at the deli, or I love grabbing wings over at Wicked Eats.
Delicious. Early mornings or late nights?
This industry trains us for late nights. Late nights, I'm not a morning person.
Biggest underrated skill in events?
Communication.
That's a very important one. Lastly, one word to describe this season of your life.
Momentum.
I love that. Emily, thank you so much for sharing your journey and giving us a real look at what leadership in events truly looks like. For everyone listening, if this conversation resonated, share this episode with someone building their career, stepping into leadership, or curious about what goes on behind the scenes of unforgettable experiences. This is the Next Gen Collective, spotlighting the professionals shaping what's next in our community. Follow us on Instagram at ACOCYEP, and we will see you in the next episode.